Today, we are going to talk about the norovirus, a highly contagious virus that is mainly known for stomach flu-like symptoms. The norovirus causes many cases of illness every year, especially in busy environments such as schools, healthcare institutions, and hospitals. In this lesson, we will discuss what exactly the norovirus is, how the virus spreads and what symptoms it causes, important measures to prevent contamination and spread. It is important to have this knowledge, especially if you work in healthcare or services, because the norovirus is very contagious and spreads quickly from one person to another. Let's get started. The digestive tract, also called the gastrointestinal tract, is a complex system responsible for absorbing nutrients and removing waste products from the body. It starts at the mouth and ends at the anus. In the mouth, food chewing and digestion begins through saliva, which contains enzymes, such as amylase. This enzyme ensures that carbohydrates are broken down into sugars that can be absorbed by the bloodstream. The tongue helps move food to the pharynx. The pharynx plays a role in both breathing and swallowing. When swallowing, food is guided into the esophagus by peristaltic movements. The esophagus transports food to the stomach. The esophagus uses peristaltic movements for this purpose. These are rhythmic contractions of the muscles to move food into the stomach. A sphincter prevents stomach contents from flowing back. The stomach mixes food with gastric juice containing hydrochloric acid and enzymes. An enzyme, for example, is pepsin to digest proteins. The hydrochloric acid provides an acidic environment, which is essential for the activation of pepsin and the killing of microorganisms. The small intestine consists of 3 parts. The duodenum. Here food is mixed with bile from the gallbladder and pancreatic enzymes to further break down fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. The jejunum. Most of the absorption of nutrients takes place here. The ileum continues the absorption of nutrients and water, after which food is sent to the large intestine. In the large intestine, water from the intestinal contents is absorbed, resulting in the formation of feces. Bacteria in the large intestine play an important role in breaking down undigested remains. The rectum provides storage for stool until the body is ready for excretion. And the anus is the last stop for the removal of waste products from the body. Norovirus is highly contagious and spreads quickly, especially in enclosed spaces such as schools, hospitals, nursing homes, and cruise ships. The distribution mainly takes place via contact with infected persons, for example by shaking hands or touching objects. Ingestion of contaminated food or water. Touching contaminated surfaces, e.g. door handles, and then touching your mouth. Inhaling virus particles, for example after vomiting of someone who is infected. Contamination means that the pathogen enters the body. Pathogens include bacteria, viruses, fungi, or parasites. During infection, the pathogen is multiplying in the body and causing symptoms. For example, after infection with norovirus, the virus can multiply in the gastrointestinal tract and cause symptoms such as vomiting and diarrhea. Inflammation is the body's response to the infection or damage. Complaints include pain, swelling, redness, and sometimes loss of function. Incubation period is the time between infection and when you start feeling symptoms. Bacteria are independent living organisms that are able to reproduce themselves and play an important role in both disease and health. Viruses are non-living particles that require a host to reproduce and often cause disease. Many bacteria are harmless or even useful to the human body, such as intestinal bacteria that aid in digestion. Only a small percentage of bacteria cause disease. Bacterial infections can often be treated with antibiotics, which kill the bacteria or inhibit their growth. Most viruses are harmful to the host because they destroy host cells during their replication. Examples of viral diseases are flu, colds, HIV, and norovirus. Antibiotics have no effect on viruses. Viral infections are sometimes treated with antiviral medications, which inhibit the reproduction of the virus or strengthen the immune system. Vaccination is an important preventive measure against viruses such as the flu virus or the measles virus. Symptoms of a norovirus infection are nausea, vomiting, often violent and sudden, diarrhea, often watery, abdominal pain or cramps, mild fever or chills, headache, muscle pain, fatigue. After exposure to norovirus, it takes an average of 12 to 48 hours for the first symptoms to appear. Symptoms usually last 1 to 3 days. Although the disease is usually short-lived, it can become more serious in vulnerable groups, such as young children, the elderly, and people with a weakened immune system. Norovirus causes frequent outbreaks, especially during the winter months. And although the symptoms are uncomfortable, the disease is not life-threatening for most people. To prevent the spread, there are some important measures. Wash hands with soap and water, especially after using the toilet and before eating. Cleaning and disinfection of surfaces that may be contaminated. Avoid contact with infected people. Cook food thoroughly and drink water from reliable sources. Vomiting is the forceful ejection of stomach contents through the mouth. It is a reflex response of the body to various stimuli, in which the muscles of the stomach, diaphragm, and abdominal muscles contract to expel the contents of the stomach. Vomiting may occur to rid the body of harmful substances, such as in food poisoning, or due to irritation, infections, or other underlying causes. Dehydration can occur due to loss of fluid, especially with severe or prolonged vomiting. It is important to get enough fluid. The color of the vomit can help assess the severity of the situation, especially in the following cases. Red or black vomit, bloody or coffee grounds-like. This may indicate serious bleeding in the digestive tract and requires immediate medical attention. Yellow or green bile. If bilious vomiting persists and is accompanied by severe abdominal pain, it may indicate an intestinal obstruction that requires medical treatment. Although the color of the vomit can be helpful in determining the cause, the person's overall health and other symptoms such as abdominal pain, fever, or dehydration are important for a complete diagnosis. Thank you for your attention. Nice that you took this lesson. I hope it was clear. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. Thanks again, and see you soon.